That was Christiane Amanpour suggesting that Harvard grads should leave the country over President Trump's policies. This from the controversial CNN anchor who once compared Republicans and Trump to Hitler and the Holocaust. For reaction to the fight to take back our schools, I'm joined by Harvard alum, as well as the founder and principal of Oracle Advisory Group, Vlada Galan. Vlada, thank you so much for being with us. You know, with all the scrutiny and all the accusations of left-wing bias and anti-Semitism, this is who they chose to speak to graduates this year. Your reaction?
Thank you so much for having me, Tom. It's truly unfortunate, but just goes to the fact that Harvard was ranked last on the speech ranking for the foundation of individual rights and expression. You can't hide behind the First Amendment rights when you don't even have it on your campus. This isn't the first time that they've had speakers like this. In other commencements, they've had other speakers that alluded to Jewish stereotypes when it comes to money and many other Jewish stereotypes that are just wrong. So it's not surprising. I mean, Harvard saw 70 days of protest between 2023 and 2024 academic school year. This is more a year than any institution outside of Stanford. So that is really, really unfortunate and goes to the fact that even since the congressional hearing was held, there's been no real changes made, and this just continues on that pattern.
When you were there, did you experience anti-Semitism or a left-wing bias? And if so, in what form? Give us a sense.
Well, I can tell you that I certainly had a class where conservative views were suppressed. I talked about facts about what was going on our southern border in the United States. And I had a professor that just shut down the facts. And I was going over statistics. I realized very quickly that if you want to survive at Harvard, that you have to suppress your conservative views, which is incredibly unfortunate. During my commencement ceremony some years ago, we had a student walk out when the speech was being given when there was discussion of abortion rights and so many other liberal subjects came with the commencement speech. We actually had someone walk out during the commencement who didn't want to deal with it anymore. And it's certainly really unfortunate. As a Jewish student, what is hard to say that that it's hard to miss the fact that there are so many faculty that are anti-West, anti-Semitic, and it's very hard to be a Jewish student in that environment. They foster an environment where other students, can attack Jewish students, and it is a huge issue. 33 Harvard student groups blamed Israel for the invasion, blaming victims whose blood was not even yet dropped.
Vlada, President Trump has called out Harvard for its blatant anti-Semitism and made no illusions about his intention to hold them to account. Watch this.
Look, Harvard has been a disaster. They're taking $5 billion, and I'd rather see that money go to trade schools. And by the way, they're totally anti-Semitic. Harvard has to show us their lists. They have foreign students. About 31% of their students are foreign-based, almost 31%.
And a lot of them are from communist China as well. So the administration has now withheld hundreds of millions of dollars in funding. The school, as you know, is fighting back. As an alum, do you agree with the administration's position and how they are trying to force some change not only at Harvard, but at a number of these other academic institutions?
As an alum, I 100% agree with the current administration's position. There is no right in our law or in constitutional right to have a student exchange program in foreign students. That is a privilege. It has been 18 months since the congressional hearing was held, and there has been no real serious changes made on Harvard's end. This is going to be a strong arm approach that is necessary by the current administration. This administration is a strong administration. This is not the Otto Penn administration. You're going to have a very different response, and that is exactly what is needed to gut some of these initiatives that have taken place. And you can't ignore DEI methodology that resides on campus that creates this view of the oppressor and the oppressed, categorizing Jews, Asians, and whites as the oppressors.
Vlada Galan, Let's just hope you're right. Some change is coming. Thank you very much for your perspective. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.